Imagine this. You're walking through life, finally at peace. You've healed from the past, the pain, the mistakes, the guilt, all left behind. But one day, someone you once trusted, maybe even loved, brings it all back. They look at you and say, "Remember who you were?" Their words cut like glass. For a moment, your chest tightens, not because the past has returned, but because someone is trying to use it against you. Most people react with anger. They defend. They explain. They start proving, "I've changed. I'm not that person anymore." But every word gives power to the one who wants to control you. The Stoic doesn't do that. The Stoic remains calm, because peace is not found in convincing others. It's found in mastering yourself. When someone brings up your past to hurt you, you don't need rage. You need clarity. The first thing you say is simple. Yes, that happened. Acceptance is strength. Denial is weakness. When you accept what was, no one can weaponize it against you. Say it calmly. Yes, that happened. Those 3 words destroy their control. They wanted your reaction, not your truth. People who drag up your past aren't searching for honesty. They're searching for dominance. They want to see you squirm, justify, explain. But when you face it with calm, their power disappears. Imagine someone saying, "Didn't you fail that job?" And you answer, "Yes, and it taught me more than success ever could." Instantly, they have nothing left to throw, because a healed person is untouchable. Seneca once said, "There is nothing nobler than facing your own faults and saying, 'Yes, I did that, and I learned.' When you accept your past, you take back authorship of your story. You no longer let others narrate it for you. Then comes the second truth. I've learned from it. That's how you turn your past into power. It changes the energy from guilt to growth. The world might still see the old version of you, but they don't realize how much fire you've walked through to become who you are now. Like steel forged in flames, you emerge sharper with every scar. The cracks in your life aren't weaknesses. They're where the light gets in. Think of Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison, yet he said, "I do not hate them. I learned that true freedom begins within." When someone tells you, "You failed," how can you talk about success? You smile and say, "Because I know what failure feels like, and I know how to rise again." That's not ego. That's wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Every obstacle is an opportunity to practice virtue." So when someone tries to stain you with your past, show them what you've become. Use that very past to demonstrate your growth. That is transformation, turning pain into wisdom, scars into symbols of strength. And then there is the most powerful response of all. Why are you bringing this up now? Say it softly, calmly, no anger, no sarcasm, just curiosity. Because that question holds a mirror to their motives. Suddenly they have to face why they're trying to hurt you. Are they jealous? Insecure? Still trapped in their own story? When you ask why, the balance of power flips. You're no longer the target, you're the observer. Epictetus said, "The one who harms others is already in pain." People dig up your past because they can't handle their present. When you ask, "Why now?" you expose their wound without attacking it. And in that silence, they realize they've already lost. The Stoic understands that silence isn't weakness. It's the highest form of strength. When someone tries to provoke you, your reaction becomes their victory. Seneca said, "The one who angers you conquers you." So stay calm. You might lose the argument, but you keep your peace. You might not strike back, but you stay in control. In a world where everyone shouts, the quiet soul stands tallest. Someone once said to me, "You never react, that makes people afraid of you." I smiled and replied, "I don't want them to fear me. I just refuse to lose myself." Because no one can drag you into the mud unless you step down willingly. You may fear people will think wrong of you. But if they do, does that change who you are? Epictetus asked, "If someone calls you a donkey, do you check a mirror?" Of course not. You already know who you are. True freedom is knowing yourself so deeply that you need no approval. If they bring up your mistakes, smile. If they twist your story, stay silent. If they want a reaction, give them calm. You owe no explanation for the chapters you've already healed from. Marcus Aurelius said, "When someone acts wrongly, it is because they do not know what is right. Teach them through your behavior, not your words." Sometimes silence is the greatest lesson. We all have old versions of ourselves, the naive, the weak, the lost. But without them, we wouldn't have learned strength, patience, compassion. The man who once struggled with addiction can now guide others to freedom. The person who failed in business can now teach others to succeed. The one who was betrayed can now show what forgiveness truly means. That's how darkness turns into light. The Stoic doesn't erase the past. They transform it. People will always try to use your past to pull you down. Not because you are weak, but because your growth reminds them of what they could be. When you rise, you become a mirror, and not everyone can face their reflection. They attack because your peace threatens their chaos. So remember 3 truths. First, acknowledge your past without shame. Second, turn every mistake into a lesson, not a life sentence. Third, ask questions instead of reacting. Let them see themselves in your calm. That's how a Stoic wins, not through noise, not through defense, but through dignity. You don't need to prove you've changed. Those who truly see you don't need an explanation. Those who don't, no explanation will ever be enough. So when someone brings up your past again, smile. Not with pride, not with pain, but with peace. Because you know, I am not what happened to me. I am how I chose to rise from it. That is true freedom. Not forgetting your past, but being at peace even when you remember it. If someone tries to drag you back into an old chapter, smile and say, "Thank you, but I've already finished that part of the story." Then walk away, calm, steady, untouchable, like a true Stoic. If this message speaks to you, share it. Let it reach someone still trapped in their past. And if you're walking your own Stoic path, subscribe to Mind Hack Stoic, a space for calm minds and unbreakable spirits. Leave this reminder in the comments today. I've closed that chapter. My story moves forward.